Hey YouTube, I'm Zakia and welcome back to my channel, you guys. As y'all can tell by the title below, today I will be giving you guys tips as to how you can survive your first semester of college. And also some of these tips can definitely be applied if you are in high school. But before I get into the video, I just want to say thank you to everybody who has been supporting me. We are on the road to 5K, you guys. Like, I can't even believe it. I never would have thought I would have reached this many subscribers, especially in the short amount of time that I've been doing YouTube. So thank you so much, you guys, and I definitely always appreciate the support. So now let's go ahead and get into the video. Okay, so basically I wrote down some tips of what I think I did or what I could have done sooner to help me to, survive college, to be a successful college student. And when I say successful college student, it just kind of makes me think of like being mentally and physically healthy, doing what I have to do in order to keep all of my scholarships, just overall being a successful student. So the first thing that I had was to always remember that school comes first, and always remember why you are at college. So the first thing that I noticed when I got on campus was like there are so many distractions. Like easily you can forget about an assignment, or easily you can find yourself, oh, I'm gonna just talk to this person for 5 minutes, and it turns to 30 minutes to an hour. So I think the first thing is just to make sure that you always remember that you are here for school. You're here to get a degree. So just make sure that you are blocking out the distractions and dedicating enough time to your schoolwork so that you aren't starting to slack or starting to see like bad grades because you weren't dedicating enough time. The second thing that I would say, this is something I really do suggest, is to go to your counselor and get a sheet of paper with the classes required for your major. So for me, I'm minoring and majoring in something. So I had to get the paper for the minor and the paper for the major. And basically, every school definitely has this. It's a sheet of paper with your major at the top or your minor at the top. And it will show like, first semester, you need to complete all of these classes in order for that to be classified as your major or your minor. And why I really think this is important is because your counselor has so many students that when it comes time for like to put you in classes, because for us as first semester freshmen, our counselor picked our classes. But when they're placing you in classes, they might not always be looking at this requirement sheet. And also, some of the classes that you have to take require prerequisites. So that means you have to take this class before you can even take this class. So if you skip taking that class, you'll be set back because you can't even take the next class, if that makes sense. So it's really important for you to get that sheet and make sure that you are taking the required classes so that you are not behind, or you're not having to take summer classes because you didn't take one of the prerequisite classes. The third thing that I really recommend is getting a planner or using your calendar, just making sure that you're marking down important dates and marking down homework. So the first thing that I did when we started school was I got my syllabus from all of my teachers and I printed it out and highlighted all of the dates that were like for the whole semester, and I wrote all of them into my agenda. So the reason why I think that's important is because, especially in college, I noticed this, they will give us assignments. You will know the assignment that you have months in advance. And it's so easy for you to forget about it because they're not reminding you in class. And since it's not due till later in the year, you're not really working on it. But if you have it in your agenda and you're checking your dates, like future dates, you'll know like, okay, maybe I should start this soon or do a little bit here. So I just think it's important for you to mark things into your planner so that work isn't becoming overwhelming and you can just see the dates in your agenda. The next thing, and this is something that I really do recommend, is to talk to your professors. So another thing that I did, and I feel like this was just something I naturally did because in high school I was always pretty close with all of my teachers because my school was so small. But I introduced myself to all of my professors and I made sure that I went to their office hours just so they could see my face. because I noticed like professors will be more lenient towards you if they feel like you're trying. Like they want to know that you care about your grade, that you want to do good in their class. So just seeing your face and showing up shows like initiative. So definitely make sure that you guys are talking to your professors. And if you get an assignment that you do not understand, do not hesitate to go talk to them and ask them about it, because that's what they're there for. Like literally professors have office hours for you to come to them and talk to them and get the assistance that you need. So make sure that you are utilizing office hours, because that's really important. I also had talk to your counselor. Make sure that your counselor is understanding like how you're doing in your classes, because they can definitely help. And make sure that they know like if you're majoring and minoring in something, because I know for me, I'm minoring in an entirely different school. So my counselor for SLC, which is where my major is, she didn't know about my minor until I came and told her about it. And once I told her, she would say like, okay, well, you might need to take this many credits this semester so that can still classify as your minor. So just make sure that you're communicating with your professors and counselors throughout the semester, and not just coming to them late in the semester asking for help. Like make sure that they see your face consistently. The next thing that I had was, okay, if you can pick your classes, like we can pick our classes now for second semester, but first semester we couldn't. Go to Rate My Professor. The reason why I think this is important is because, of course, you want the professor who has the highest rating. Like, obviously, that would be the professor you want. But also, when you go in there, not only will you be able to see their rating, but you'll be able to see, like, if they lecture, if they're heavy on homework. You'll be able to see, like, how open they are to students as far as, like, office hours. And if you're a student who would rather a teacher who lectures, then you might want a teacher who is doing more lectures. But if you're a student who would rather a teacher who is more like interactive and it's like group projects and things, Rate My Professor will help you to see that. So it's important for you to use that as far as like picking your classes and your professors. The next thing that I had was make sure that you get into group me. So I know this was something that they automatically did at Howard, and like my school did this, but it wasn't really like as pressing. But I noticed that as soon as I got into my classes at Howard, as soon as like the first day, they were passing around a sheet like, put your phone number and put your name, we about to make a group meet. Because they already knew like, throughout the semester, we just gonna text in there. If somebody don't have a homework sheet, text in there and ask for it. Like simple things like that. But just make sure that you're getting into group meets, and make sure that you're creating good relationships with your classmates. That way, if throughout the year you need assistance, you can just hit them up and ask them for help, and not like be trying to figure it out on your own. So that's like, I feel like that's a second step, because you may not feel like going to office hours, or maybe your professor doesn't have office hours. So just make sure that you communicate with your classmates and build good relationships with them, because they'll be able to help you out throughout the semester. Okay, the next thing I had was study groups. Do not hesitate to facilitate your own study groups, y'all, because everybody is probably feeling the same way that you feel when it comes time for exams and quizzes. So just hit people up and be like, hey, y'all, do y'all want to go to the library at this time? We can study real quick. And that may help you. Also, I feel like study groups are helpful because you may have missed something in class that they didn't miss, or they may understand something better than you understand it. So just make sure, again, that goes back to like communicating and creating good relationship with your classmates, and that'll definitely help you. Oh, I also want to say this is something that I did so that my work didn't get really like overwhelming for me. But I would go to the library every single day and at least stay in there for an hour. Like that would be the minimum time. And I only did that because literally in college, I realized there's always something that you can be doing. I know like in high school, there will be days where I had no homework. You know, you can always study, but basically I would have nothing to do. In college, that's not the case. Because you have all your dates and like when your assignments are due, you can always start something early. So going to the library every day and at least dedicating an hour only helped me so that either I would be ahead or I would at least just know what I had to do, because I would sit down and be like, okay, this is due then, this is due here, and I would just be able to like get my mind right and just prepare. So I definitely recommend, dedicating a certain amount of time every day to your schoolwork, even if you don't have an assignment due that next day. Oh, okay, y'all. This is something that I really, really, really do recommend. Before you buy any books for any classes, look up to see if you can find the PDF. I feel like this was very much so a freshman move that I made, but as soon as I got my syllabus, I went to the bookstore and I bought every single book on the list. And I spent so much money that I did not have to spend because I went into group meetings and people was like, oh, PDF, here's the PDF, here's the PDF, and it was free. So I could have saved so much money if I would have just waited and got the PDF instead of going to buy the book. And the other thing that I would say is for me, I'm a paper person. So I like to actually have the book in my lap, but I could have easily just printed the PDF out and still saved so much money. So make sure that y'all look for the PDFs before y'all buy any of the books. Okay, so now I'm kind of going to talk about some of the things socially that you can do just to help you to feel better about school. So the first thing that I would say is, this is something that I recommend, but try not to hang out with a new group of friends in environments that you don't know without letting someone else know. So if I know I'm going out somewhere that I'm unfamiliar with a group of people who I just met, it's important for me to have my location on for my parents or my friends who aren't with me, or just let them know hey, I'm about to go here with these people, because literally, you guys, you never know what can happen. And since you aren't familiar with their environment, it's a lot more challenging to deal with the situation if something comes up. So I think it's important for you to take those precautions so that you aren't in a situation stuck. My friends will probably text me hey girl, are you okay? What time do you think you're going to head back? And literally, it's not a babying thing. It's just they're checking on me to make sure I'm okay, because all of these, these are new people that I'm with, and this is a new environment, so anything could happen, and they just want to make sure I'm okay. So make sure you take those precautions if you are doing that. Okay, the next thing I want to say is try not to automatically, I'm trying to see how to put it. Still be aware that these people are new that you are with, in the beginning of the school year, and everybody does not have the best intentions for you. I think that's important to know, because I think it's really easy to get caught up in you always hear stories oh, my college best friends, and these are my college friends, and you just want that, and so you may just automatically open yourself up completely to these new people. And I think you just really have to be aware that everybody may not have the best intentions for you, and you don't want to put yourself in a situation where you're kind of I wish I didn't tell them this, or I wish I didn't open up so soon, because now you see the real them. So just really be aware of that. Your real friends will definitely come around. Do not force friendships. Do not force relationships. They're always going to come, and you're going to realize, these are my real friends and these aren't my real friends. So just definitely be aware of that so that you aren't putting yourself in bad situations. This kind of goes back on the second one, but just make sure that you're protecting your private space, especially your room. So I know for me and Peyton, we were very particular about who we let into our room, just because this is our home. This is literally the one thing we have here that's strictly ours. And so it's important for us to protect this space. This is our safe place. So just make sure that you are paying attention to that, because I think that's important. Okay, this one I definitely recommend. Watch your surroundings everywhere. I kind of talked about this in another video, but Howard is an open campus. So that means that students who don't go to Howard, or just people in general who don't affiliate with Howard, can just come onto our campus. And sometimes like I said, they may not have the best intentions, and they know that we're college students, and some of us are a little naive, or we're just new to the environment. So they might try to trick you or just manipulate you. I don't know, you guys. It's not everybody, but there are definitely people who do these things. And it's really important for you to be able to know, if something is about to go down, like you need to get out of that situation, or you don't need to stay in that area. Because I noticed, like, for instance, I have been out before, and like me and my friends were at a party, and these guys started fighting. Some of the people I was with kind of wanted to stay and watch the fight, and I'm just like, no, y'all, like, we need to go, because you never know what the fight can turn into. So just situations like that, pay attention to your surroundings, or kind of like, if you're somewhere and you start getting a bad vibe about the situation, trust your gut instinct and leave, because you never want to feel like, dang, if we would have just left in, or like just situation like that. You guys, trust your gut and just pay attention to your surroundings, because you can avoid so many situations if you trust your gut. Okay, the next thing, socially, promote. And when I say promote, y'all, I'm talking about promote parties. I know in the beginning of the semester, you know, we have freshman week, and I did not really promote, kind of because, I don't know, that wasn't really a thing back when I was in high school. But when I got here, like, people were promoting, and if you promote for the party, you get into the party for free. And all it takes is like a simple upload the flyer on your Instagram. So make sure that y'all promote so that you can save money, because, make sure that you promote so that you can save money, because we are college students, and you know, you want to have fun and stuff, but you do not have time to be paying $20 for a party. You don't. Okay, this is something I really want to touch on, but never leave your friends. I think this is really important, and I've definitely met people here who, like, were really dedicated to this, but I've also met people who really weren't dedicated to this. So I feel like in any situation that you're in, if y'all go to a party, if y'all just go out, just any, like, no matter where y'all are going, if you go out with a group, make sure that everybody you went out with is coming back together. I think this is important, because you never know what can happen. And if you're going out with a group of friends, you trust them to have your back, or just to stay with you no matter the situation. So even if it is that one person who wants to stay 30 minutes longer, stay with that person. I'm literally saying, like, I think this is the most important thing. Do not leave anybody behind. Like, you never know what can happen. And when you're out and people see, ooh, like, they just left their friend, that one person, they may see them and want to pick on them or do mean things to them. So definitely make sure that you guys are not leaving your friends. Stay with your friends. If you have that friend that, you know, likes to stay out a little bit longer, just tell them ahead of time, okay, this is the time we're leaving. Make sure that you're ready at this time. Like, y'all just have an agreement, but do not leave your friends no matter the situation. The next thing that I would say is buy items in bulk. So I know, as far as us, I don't have a car up here, and the grocery store is like a 20-25 minute walk. So going to the grocery store, y'all, I literally hated it, because I would have to walk all the way there, and most of the time I would Uber back because I had so many groceries. But I will only go grocery shopping maybe once a month, and sometimes not even that much, depending on how much I got when I went before. But just make sure you get items in bulk so that you aren't having to keep going back to the grocery store. Okay, set a budget for yourself. So this was something that I really had to start doing when I got here, because I'm a little bit more independent now, and it's also a lot easier to spend money. You know, you have to buy food, groceries. Sometimes you want to go buy an outfit here and there. Then I'm trying to keep up my hair and my nails, and then you have to put money into, like, your books and things. Like, it's just so many items, so many things you can end up spending money on. So it's important for you to have a budget for yourself, so that you aren't feeling like, so that you aren't getting to a point where you just have no money at all, because it's always important for you to have a little bit of money on you, because you never know what can happen. But just make sure that you set a budget, and also take out a little bit of money so that you can have some money in your savings account. Okay, this is going to, like, mental health, but throughout my freshman year, or like my first semester, you know, you're gonna feel down. You're gonna feel like you aren't good enough. You're gonna feel like you aren't doing enough. So it's important for you to have people that you can talk to and open up to about, because I know for me, like, sometimes I'm really hard on myself, or I feel like I'm not doing enough. I feel like I could be doing a lot more. And maybe that is the case, but I shouldn't stress about that every single day. And I feel like a lot of freshmen were dealing with this same problem, and if you let it bottle up like that, that's really not healthy, and you're never going to feel better. So make sure that you have people that you can talk to. I know for me, I would call my parents and talk to my parents. They also have, like, at all schools, they have the Student Services Center. So you can go in there and talk to somebody. But just make sure that if you're feeling sad or depressed, or if you're feeling stressed out, that you go and talk to somebody instead of bottling it up. I really do want to stress that to you guys. I lastly want to, well, these are the last couple of things I want to talk about, but just making sure that you take care of yourself. I think it's really easy to, forget to take care of yourself when everything is going on. Like, you're just trying to get your work done, but you also want to have a social life. But you guys, make sure that you are getting sleep. Make sure that you're eating properly. Make sure that you're still keeping your, like, living environment clean. I feel like all of those things, just make sure that you're taking care of yourself, because that will also help with your mental health, having a clean environment. And take days where literally you just spend time alone and enjoy your own company. Like, I know for me, I would have days where I would just come in my room, y'all, and watch Netflix for the rest of the night, or just do my homework and just relax. Like, I feel like that's important, just to help to keep you calm. I don't know, like, keep you balanced out. But just make sure that you're doing that, because when everything is going on around you, you can easily forget about yourself. So just make sure that you're dedicating time to yourself. I kind of just touched on this, but don't feel forced to do everything. And literally, I had to hear this from numerous people before I actually got it. But, like, as soon as you get on campus, you'll feel like, ooh, let me get into this org, or ooh, let me start this business, and let me do this, and let me do this, and let me do that. But take your time, you guys. Do not rush anything, because literally, you're going to be here for 4 years. These things are always going to be here, and you will overwhelm yourself if you try to do everything as soon as you get on campus. Fill the campus out first. Make sure that, of course, you're putting your schoolwork first, but make sure that your mental health is good when you first get on campus before you start jumping into everything, because that can definitely be stressful. I literally had to hear so many people tell me this. Like, they're like, don't rush it. Or they'll say, like, don't force trying to be into everything. Like, you don't have to do everything right now. And I think a lot of freshmen need to hear that, because you will easily get on campus and feel like, I'm not doing enough. But literally, you will be. Like, get adjusted to the campus first. The last thing that I want to say is, the thing I want to say before this is, do not forget your process. And my mom always had to tell me this, because back when I was in high school, I had a process. So basically, like, especially when it came to papers, I would write the paper, I would send it to her, she would edit it, I would turn it in. When I got on campus, I was really trying to be more independent. So I would just do the paper on my own and check it for myself, and basically forget the process that I had before that was working for me. Do not forget the process that you had that was working for you. I would turn the paper in, y'all, and I would get a B. And it's like simple mistakes that I know my mom would have caught. So do not forget the process that was working for you. And she would say to me, like, Z, why didn't you let me read it? And it was more so because I was trying to find my independence. But you can still be independent with assistance, you guys. Like, literally, that's what I had to realize. I needed to realize that, because I was trying to, I don't know, y'all. I was trying to be real independent and just do everything on my own. But having assistance and support does not mean that you aren't independent. So just make sure that you stay true to the process that you know is working for you. And the last thing that I really want to say is just enjoy your experience and try not to rush anything. Trust yourself, and, of course, put forth a lot of work and effort, because that's what you're here for. But enjoy the moment. Like, do not stress about it, because we're not going to experience this ever again. You only have one first semester of, like, college, and you want to make sure that you enjoy that time and create everlasting memories. So that's basically all I have for you guys today. If y'all have any questions about my first semester, just put it in the comments. This video is kind of running long, so I don't want to be talking too much. But if y'all have questions or comments, you know, put it in the comments. Feel free to email or DM me because I will definitely respond. But thank you guys for watching, and I will be back with more videos.